Welcome to the first section of Module 3, titled From Place to Space. This session will provide a theoretical framework to understand the process of using media as a proxy. On the one hand, it aims to assist teachers in using media for teaching sustainability, and on the other hand, it aims to help students understand ESD, Education for Sustainable Development, by providing participatory methods and tools. But what exactly will we discuss in this module? The first section, 3.1, focuses on the distinction between place and space. The second section, 3.2, deals with perceptions and representations. The last part of this introductory lesson talks about the role of technological means in collecting spatial elements and taking action in space. In fact, space and place are two fundamental concepts in geography that require definition. In practice, the meaning of place often merges with that of space. From the security and stability of a place, we become aware of the openness, freedom, and structure of space and vice versa. The main questions to achieve our goal are: how is place perceived? How do we apprehend space from real movement to virtual stop? What is the role of perceptions? What process is activated to understand it? Which methodological framework is suitable for attributing spatial meaning? Before introducing the different geographical concepts of place and space, it is interesting to mention various spaces. In other words, we explore how we transition from our place to space and vice versa, and how human beings construct space. Lived space, it is a representational space experienced by individuals. It involves their feelings more than their thoughts. For example, it includes feelings of pleasure, safety, memories, or social connections. Lived space allows orientation through the senses and memory within a local system. Perceived space, it is a spatial practice. This concept refers to the reality of a space, whether urban or otherwise, and the routines that occur within it. It encompasses activities that support economic and social production, such as itineraries, land use, natural borders, etc. Perceived space encourages us to see the invisible aspects of a space. Conceived space, it involves representations of space. This concept pertains to the realm of scientists and those who define what a space is, such as planners, architects, and technocrats. It represents the primary and material aspect of every society, intimately connected to the relations of production and the order of stability and growth. This includes topographic and administrative maps, for example. Conceived space is structured and organized. Storytelling is an ancient form of communication that shares people's real or imagined experiences. The concept of place is very complex and challenging to explain, and even more so to formalize and represent through technological means. Perhaps the senses of smell and touch are influenced by mentality, but the world is primarily structured by intelligence. Odors add character to objects and places, making them distinctive, easier to identify, and more memorable. However, true understanding and experience are necessary, and are constructed through movement. A place is inherently narrative, but effectively representing a place requires asking the right questions, and providing answers that convey the emotions experienced at that specific place. The concept of place. What types of questions does it produce? Can you name a favorite place? Can you explain why it is your favorite? Can you name any landmarks in that place? What are the correlations between two different people who have the same favorite place? Which factors should we take into consideration, and how is it possible to decompose a place? Formalize it. Transmit it from subjective to objective. People of different cultures differ in how they perceive, interpret, and value their world. Place is defined by human experience and movement. Our present self contains our past self, and the same place can evoke different feelings and meanings depending on the season, time of day, and personal experiences. It is indeed perceived differently across different cultures and ages. Place has specific movements, thematic identities, and various other aspects. What gives a place its identity and aura? A place possesses an identity, an aura, a meaning, a reason to revisit. However, mapping the sensory aspects can reveal the invisible, tracing social, environmental, and economic issues that go beyond the visualization of absolute data. For instance, on the right, you can see an example of sensory mapping for the Athenian neighborhood called Academia Platonos. Place contains objects, but places and objects define space by shaping its geometry. Space is more abstract than place. What begins as undifferentiated space becomes a place as we get to know it better and endow it with value. But what is space? Space is a geometrical notion that refers to geometry, mathematics, and Cartesian space. In fact, how do we shift from experience/subjective data to objective data to add value for this purpose? In summary, experience can be direct and intimate, or it can be indirect and conceptual, mediated by media and symbols. One person may know a place intimately as well as conceptually. However, there is a need to find a way to give meaning from a district to a city, from a country to the globe. Experience is compounded of feeling and thought. One can articulate ideas, but they may have difficulty expressing what they know through their senses of touch, taste, smell, hearing, and even vision. It is a common tendency to regard feeling and thought as opposed, with one registering subjective states, and the other reporting on objective reality. In fact, they lie at the two ends of an experiential continuum, and both are ways of knowing. Seeing and thinking are closely interconnected. Thank you very much for your attention. We invite you to follow the next section of Module 3, titled Module 3.2, Perspectives and Representations.